Hello, Kevin here with the video. Today we're speaking about some things that I have somewhat wanted to speak about for some time. Specifically, I saw that Mercury is in retrograde at this time. So somebody made a video that Mercury got her micro braids put in, and you would think that by now Mercury would know about lace front weaves. Anyway, what we are going to be speaking about in this specific video is about, well, let's first speak about the energy. And I'm speaking about it from a personal experience rather than things that I have read. And I know personally the energy feels very it seems like this energy of wanting to create, like a time to create. And I also seen the number 111 about like manifestations and creating and using your intuition, your gifts, and things like that. It's about if you are ready to do that art, like singing, dancing, and things like that, it's the time to do it. Now, the universe is also, now I seen the number 144. The universe is somewhat, it's not an energy of pushback. It's an energy of, are you going to implement those ideas and put those ideas to action? And I think that even if there are, there may be forces that are speaking, we're not even going to speak those things. What we are going to speak is positively. And this is a time to use those gifts to benefit you, to benefit that inner child. And I think that this, at this time, there is a lot of movement with that. Recently, I just uploaded a video of speaking about singing, and if you like this video, which we're just at the beginning, then you can click on that video also. So it's definitely about that. Now, I did have this idea of authenticity, and so that is also arising in the energy, like being authentically aligned with you and wherever you are with authenticity. What I mean by that is that some people or some teachers will speak to you what is authentic, and then after you hear what authenticity is, you have to mold it into what best works for you. So that is somewhat just a skim of what I mean by that. Now, what we are speaking about in this video, which I'm not sure what I'm going to title it yet, but I do know the topics that I would like to speak about. And this is something that I've seen many times, where people misunderstand certain things about the spiritual community. And something that I can speak about first is this symbol, which is like the triangle. You may have seen it on the dollar, and I didn't look up what it means on the dollar. So if you would like, I haven't looked it up yet. So if you would like to look up what that means, then feel free to do it. If not, I may put it in the video as I'm editing. But this symbol, I have seen Jay-Z do the symbol. I have seen Beyonce do the symbol. And recently I seen a video, and it wasn't too recent, but I seen a video where Blue Ivy was doing the symbol. Now, in the comment section. And, you know, these are celebs, right? But for spiritual beings, we are aware of what these symbolizations mean. And many people who are uneducated about certain things and have this 3D view of, or this conditioned awareness of what certain things mean, they sometimes don't do all of the research. And so when they hear a person say, oh, well, this is this and this is that, then they just take it for word value. But when you do your research, which research was done, and this, from what was researched, is a symbolism for power. Now, within the video where Blue Ivy is doing the symbol, many people spoke that Blue Ivy was, like, they always speak about Beyonce being in some type of whatever. Like, they speak about a cult, or they'll speak about the, you know, anyway, it means power. If you take away the hand symbolism and you just see it as a figure, it will look like a triangle. And the triangle is known to be seen as the masculine energy, or as masculine. And it means several other things also, more than that. And the reciprocal, I call it the reciprocal because it's easier for, like, in my mind when I think about it that way, the reciprocal being upside down, which is this would be the feminine, right? So when you put those two together, you have the diamond shape. And together, it would somewhat symbolize wholeness. And it would also look like the female anatomy, if you kind of think about it that way. But if you think about it as a diamond, it would symbolize the masculine and feminine together. And the feminine is known as the chalice. But when you speak about it from a energetic aspect, it is feminine energy and masculine energy. And I will put the diagram of what I researched earlier in this video so that you see all of the references to what the triangle for masculine means and what the triangle for feminine means. But primarily when people do this, or from what I have seen and researched, is that it means power. But I did see a video where it was kind of like that. That was like the video showed it like this, but many people do it like this. Power. Now, what I can say is many people say, oh, the first thing that conditioned people have been taught is that certain things are seen as evil or something like that. But when you do your research, you would become aware of what things actually mean. And now I had a family member, and they were speaking to another family member about the number 666. I think that when many people see that, right, the first thing that they think of is the devil, right? So before we speak about 666, what I'm going to speak about is the I think it's a major arcana. It is the Devil Tarot card. And the Devil Tarot card is about, it's a card about addictions. When it is when it's in its upright, it is in, it's about addictions. It's about putting material things over your spirit. I heard spiritual birthright, but putting that material life over the healing that is necessary to be your highest self. And when I say highest self, I don't mean Mary Jane. So it's also about like doing things like that. When that card shows up, it can be something like, and it's not just speaking about smoking weed or doing any type of, thing like cocaine or anything like that, anything that is kind of not allowing you to focus on being your greatest self. And when you are focusing on being your greatest self, now when you're focusing on being your greatest self, then it can, if it shows up in reverse, it can show up as you being able to what was it saying? I'm going to have it up there, but I'm kind of speaking from what I read on the internet. But when the card is in the reverse, it's kind of you taking control of those addictions and saying, no, I'm now going to focus on being my higher self, although I have these addictions around. And also, I would like to say that addictions can show up as thinking patterns that are unhealthy. Like it can show up as fear, fearful habits, fearful addictions, fear that you wouldn't succeed when you are. And if you start to believe that you are going to succeed, then it probably would be in the reverse. But upright, if you have like addictive thought processes, it can show up. Or if you are addicted to a certain relationship that is not healthy for you, or there's an unhealthy pattern in the relationship that you are needing to remove yourself from, then the card may show up. Something that I can speak about was that my twin flame message saying, speaking of the devil. And it kind of made me laugh when I thought about it later on, because thinking about a person can be your addiction because you are thinking about them constantly. If you're thinking about them constantly, then it can become an addictive habit to think about them. Now with twin flames is different, because the universe is wanting for you two to be together, the divine feminine and the divine masculine to they call it alchemize, to come together to form union, to be the acting God force energy on planet Earth while we're existing. Now, back to speaking about the card and the correlation to 666, to keep that in mind, 666 is something similar. Now, the way that it showed up for this family member, when they started to speak about them seeing it in the grocery store, and there was another family member that spoke about them by purchasing wine. That family member also has a condition called diabetes that they were recently diagnosed with. And the way that it intuitively was being received was that they prioritize these habits that may not be good for their body's health. Because if you are prioritizing something that is material over the focus of your health, then it can be seen as a addictive pattern. And so I think for them, it wasn't that, but that's what was spoken to them, and what they actually needed to hear was about their work. They when I looked up the number, because I looked up I had been intuitively receiving the number before seeing them. And when I looked up the number, there was when I looked up the number, it said it was something about working. And what I was receiving intuitively before I did this video was that when you are trying to pursue a certain job, or when you are trying to gain money, when you're trying to gain money and thinking that gaining a certain amount of money is going to fix certain, like it's going to, like some people say that money fixes all issues. But what I told another family member is that even if you have a lot of money, if you haven't fixed the internal things, and when I say fix, I mean more become aware of your spirit and how to align with becoming your best self. When you haven't become aware of your triggers, or become aware of those conditioned beliefs, and you think that getting the money and paying all of those bills is going to get it done, and overworking. Sometimes you have to speak to that job and tell that job, no, I can't. I come first. Sometimes you have to focus on what is best mentally. And a lot of times, especially in African American families and ancestry, there are a lot of families who have reoccurrence of pasthood things. And I had a thought there, but it just kind of got away a little bit. But what I can say is that I also want to speak about how there was a fear to tell that person about the number that I had continued to seen the number before I had saw them. And prior to seeing them, they spoke that they didn't believe that I was a psychic medium. And I had the number saved in my phone, but instead of just pulling my phone out and showing them that, hey, this is what this number means. I just somewhat spoke to them about what I knew about the number instead of speaking it verbatim. So I fought that fear that I had to speak about it in front of them, but I could have read it for verbatim. But what I did say was that the number is tied to addictive habits and getting out of those addictive habits. But they were working a lot, and it can also be about taking care of yourself. But I will put that number here so that you can see the number. And Spirit has let me know that I have spoken about that enough, and so hopefully this kind of allows you to have a better understanding of symbolisms and things like that. And so if there's more to put in this video, which there will probably be, that's why Spirit is saying to hold a minute, or so I will take and see what I have said so far, and then if there is something to add, I will add that. I was guided during the editing process to speak about this. Spirit was wanting it to be known that financial abundance is a part of your birthright. Also, being able to see, to experience Spirit in that way, and health, all those things. Now, in connection to what was spoken about earlier with addictive patterns, it is great to have money, yet, and this somewhat ties into what I was speaking about when I was in pertaining to 666 earlier. But now let's speak about the numbers that I put earlier in the video. I can't remember the exact numbers. It was like 4,000 something. I'm not going to do all of the research for you. I will allow you to research and gather your own experience for those numbers. Now, what I can say is that there were two things that also became aware while editing. And some people may be dealing with family issues, and while they are on their spiritual path, when you have family members that have a certain belief and your belief starts to shift into something more aligned with what Spirit has designed for your specific path, you may have family members that try to bring up conditioned ways to kind of challenge your personal beliefs in spirituality. Now, while that is being said, sometimes you become aware of how necessary it is to have certain energies in your experience like that. Lately, I've been seeing the number 244, and the reduced number of that is 1. Yeah, so wholeness with that. If you want to look up that number, you can look up that number. But now, I seen something earlier in the editing process about how can I say it? Maybe a family member has portrayed you in a way pertaining to in a sexual type way, touching you without your permission, or maybe you have had an experience like that in the past. Okay? And sometimes as spiritual beings, we experience those things to understand how to set boundaries for ourselves. And if you are a person that it has happened to, while it can be said, somebody can say sorry to you, these things that happen are also for your growth. And you may have heard that things happen for you, not to you. And while it did happen to you, you had to acknowledge that it happened to you. But that's the thing about being spiritually aware, because you have to have that awareness that it is something divine that is happening, although that happened to awaken you spiritually. And I seen 444 in the corner of my vision, and I also saw 446. So the divine is always aware of what is happening, and when things happen like that, how you experience your journey thereafter, it could be for a reason for you to move away from that toxic person. But if you have found yourself kind of stagnant because of that, it is also happening so that your journey is somewhat the story to success. However you gain success after that happening is a way for you to understand how to move forward. Now, what I was speaking about earlier about what was arising was the devil card and how it pertains to family, and how sometimes you have family members in your life that may bring forward certain things, for my experience of becoming a plant-based eater, and then, asking some family members, well, do you want to do it? And they was just like, no. Like they grew up eating things that were, they grew up with like farm animals and having to eat certain things that, were hunted for. Now, I think now the spiritual experience, or some people's expectation of what spirituality is different from other beliefs, or the way that it was in the past. And it's all about how you are experiencing your experience. Now, in pertaining to the twin flame journey, I heard you are the devil, right? When that is being heard, the thing that is, that was spoken about earlier was, you could be somebody's addictive habit, thinking about you. And in pertaining to the twin flame journey, the masculine energy is usually the energy that, or the runner of the journey is usually denying the journey, because they don't, even though they intuitively know that you are their person, they are somewhat bound to conditional beliefs. Like, and I won't dive too deep into this, but what can be said is that as a man portraying the feminine energy to a person that is another man, having to believe that this is his kingdom wife, in the 3D experience, it may not make sense, because when people hear divine feminine and divine masculine, they expect to see the equal experience of the vessel. They expect for the vessel to align with what they are hearing, instead of allowing their divine purpose to be what it is and experience it for what it is. Like, even though when I experienced my twin flame, I thought, well, is that my twin flame? And then when I started receiving the information that indicated that is your twin flame, I had to believe God's experience of allowing me to receive that that was my twin flame. And if you are in separation from your twin flame, and I tried to do this under 10 minutes, but it is probably it's 10 minutes now. So now I can speak more about it in another video, but what I do want to say is that if you are in separation from your twin and you aren't sure whether to move forward, or no. This is what I was going to speak about it, because this is very important. If the devil card shows up in a twin flame reading, something that it could signify is that you have a person in your life, or a person in your life could be detouring you from your path of being a twin flame, which being with that person can be an addictive pattern, or being with people like that is an addictive pattern. And so you are meant to separate yourself from people that think like that. And I also just saw my twin flame's birthday number, so that's how I know that that is in alignment. So with that being said, you have to become aware that if Spirit is saying that something is for you, it is for you. Now, I was going to speak about something else, but it is definitely for another video, and it's difficult to leave the video with a cliffhanger, but it is something that is definitely big, and it's pertaining to moving forward. Because something that is big in the twin flame experience is so I am being guided to allow the video to be what it is, okay? So I am grateful for every viewer that is watching. I did have some notes pertaining to Blue Ivy and how beings perceived her name as being bringer of light, yet I noticed that Beyonce spoke about what that meant to her, and that can also be said in another video. But I'm grateful to all the viewers, and if you are new to this channel, I am grateful for you watching. Good day.